Okay, in this lesson we'll make a small spotlight using starting with a parabola, and then you can use those inside a art gallery scene, or a track lighting in your building or whatever, something of that nature. So we could use a sphere, of course, to try and approximate a parabola, but the eye is pretty clever and can figure out that that's not quite exactly right. So let's take a look at this from the x-axis. What we want to do is to be able to draw a curve. I'll look at it from straight above. So we want to be able to draw a curve that's in the shape of a parabola, and then from there we'll be able to rotate that around an axis in order to actually generate a paraboloid, or and it'll look like a spotlight. So for starters, let's just kind of give an overview of what we're going to do. We'll just add a plane to the scene real quick, and I'm just going to scale it up so we can look at it, and we'll draw on it real quick and kind of give you an idea. Let's see, so I'm going to go grab the grease pencil real quick, and you can imagine I think I have a grease pencil. So here's your x-axis in mathematics, right? And here's your y-axis, and we want to draw a curve that kind of looks like this. It's somewhat like that. A second degree equation, and our equation is going to be the most basic equation: y is equal to x squared. And what we're going to do with this equation, we're going to pick a value of x, say -1, -2, -3, and 1, 2, and 3. We're going to pick these values. We'll make a small table. We'll make this x and this y. So we'll take this first value, -3, over here. We're going to plug it in. So we're going to put -3 into that equation for x. That would be -3 squared. So y is equal to -3 times -3, and that's equal to 9. Then we go pick another value for x. We'll pick this one, -2, right here. And we'll plug that in. So y is equal to -2 squared, and -2 squared is equal to 4. And then we'll continue with -1, and that'll be 1. And 0 squared is 0. And then we'll pick this one there, 1. 1 squared, that's a 0. 1 squared is 1. And that's a 0. And 2 squared is 4. And 3 squared is 9. I think you get the picture. Alright, so then what we need to do is, based on that, we need to actually go and find a way to build that curve. So I'll just move this to the side here. Oh, you know what? I'm going to move it onto a second layer. So the grease pencil. No, you can't tell me that grease pencil stays there. It does, of course. Yeah. Sorry. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to go get this guy, and we're going to. Oh yes, we are. We're going to delete it. All right. So now we're looking down at the x-axis. There's the red. I don't know. You can barely see it. There's red and there's green for y, like that. So let's move the cursor to the center. And let's add a plane to the scene. And I'm going to go into point select, like vertex select mode. I'm going to go into edit mode, vertex select. I'm going to grab that vertex. I'm just going to press P to separate it out. Alright, so now it's not part of that. And then I'm going to get out of here, and then I'm going to delete the plane. And what's left over is a vertex right there. See that? Okay. So then I'm going to come up here. I'm going to make sure that I want that vertex to be at 0, 0, even though it thinks it's at 0, 0, but the center is actually not there. So I have to go into edit mode, and then I'm going to move it to 0, 0, like that. Okay, so now I know my vertex is located at the center. So now I'm going to put on right here, snap during transform. And I'm just going to extrude this vertex out to the right with E. I'll press E followed by X, and I'll put one there, and then EX, another one there, EX, another one there, EX, and another one there. That's good for that. Come back to here, EX, extrude this one here, like this. Alright, you know, I'm doing this for non-programmers. Normally I would do this in the Python programming tutorials that I have in one of my playlists, but well, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, but in this case we're just going to do it by hand. So let's start with this inside one. This is -1. Now remember, the equation was y is equal to x squared. So when we plug -1 into x squared, that's a -1 times -1 is positive 1. So the x value is negative 1, the y value is 1. Okay, so what? Oh, well, since I see I goofed that up. I scaled that way up. So the heck with that. We'll just, since those are scaled wrong, oh no, I did that at 0.1. So we're going to make this answer as 0.1. All right, and for this one, normally that would be negative 2 times negative 2 is 4, but since it's negative 0.2 times negative 0.2 is going to be 0.4. All right, and this is going to be negative 0.3 times negative 0.3 is going to be 0.9, like that, and negative 4 times, negative 0.4 times negative 4 is 0.16. Negative 0.4 times negative 0.4 is 1.6. That's right. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. So this would be 0.1, and that's going to be, for this one, 0.4, and that one is going to be 0.9, and that one is going to be 0.16. I mean 1.6. I got that one wrong again. All right. Now if those were, you could just scale it up, and you could just say, oh, that was 1 and 1, 2 and 4, 3 and 3, 4 and 16. It's just an issue of scale, nothing else. It's going to look identical. All right. So now I'll just highlight them all, and there's our parabola. If you want more precision to your parabola, you don't want to just subdivide it, because then it's just going to put a point here and a point here like that. What you want to do is you want to start your line, and you want to have more divisions along your horizontal line before you start, and then you calculate more points as you go. And that's the reason you usually do it in code, because it's very quick and easy to do it in code. But then you have to learn how to program, and I know a lot of people don't want to learn how to program. Well, so now once you have it in here, then of course we're just going to rotate it. We're going to rotate it around. In this case, we'll rotate it around the y-axis. So for instance, I'll press E to extrude, and then R, and then Y, and then let's say 20, and left click. Okay, and then I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do ERY. Yikes, I did something like that. ERY 20. Right, if we start looking at it from, we'll go out of ortho mode. No. See what I've done already? I'm starting to rotate that around. So we're going to look at it sideways. I think you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to type ERY 20, left click. I'm just going to repeat that process. And then just 20 degrees each time. And that looks like, well, son of a gun. There it is. Suddenly we have a little paraboloid based on a parabolic shape, parabolic curve, a second degree equation. Right? And so then the more you have, of course, the more points, the better it's going to look, and the smoother it's going to get. And let's just, it looks like it's a little skewed in Y, so we'll just kind of scrunch it down. And then you can see that, well, we'll just smooth shade it. And then suddenly you have a light like that that you can use for a spot lamp in your scene. All right, so it's not that much work, but you can imagine if you tried to take a sphere and extrude it to look like that, I assure you it's not going to look like that. All right, so it's a good exercise to do on your own, and then you can enter in all kinds of equations, and then yeah, there we go. We have a green light now. All right, well, I hope that gives you some ideas about how to work in your own projects, and that's it for this lesson. I'll see you in the next lesson.